Hey, what's up, Forum? It's Grillhands, and I'm bringing you a game of Domination on Zoo, obviously from the loading screen. And I actually joined this game after it already started, and I was recording the gameplay live. Unfortunately, my cap card had a little bit of a hiccup. For about 30 seconds at the very beginning of the game, it stopped recording. The good news is the game was saved in theater mode, so I was able to go back and record that missing segment and insert it into the live recorded gameplay. The bad news is that this is the segment right here that came from theater mode, and it's really choppy and laggy. I don't know why that happens with theater mode from time to time, but I'll go back and try to record gameplay, and it just lags a lot. It's framey. It just doesn't look as good. It doesn't have the same quality as recording live. So that's why I prefer to record all my gameplays live. The other reason I prefer to record everything live is I've had theater mode bite me in the ass before. I've had gameplays that were completely lost, maybe because of host migration or something along those lines. So I'll have a really good gameplay and it won't be in my recent games. So yeah, I tend to avoid theater mode if at all possible. But I did this commentary for this gameplay once before, and I wasn't really happy with the end results, so I took a break, went downstairs, and started watching AMC. And honestly, I'm not a very big fan of the channel, just because they'll take an hour and a half movie and turn it into a 3 hour ordeal. You'll get 5 minutes of movie and 5 minutes of commercials. And it's kind of a jarring effect. You can't really get into a movie if you got a commercial every 5 minutes. I do like the TV show Mad Men, but that's about it. But The Matrix was on, and I haven't seen that movie in a while. And if you haven't seen The Matrix, I mean, if you're a fan of guns, sci-fi, action, kung fu, basically everything that is awesome, you need to go out and check The Matrix. In all seriousness, it's probably one of the better sci-fi movies to come out of the 90s. And a little fact that you may not know, the lead character of Neo was originally offered to Will Smith, but he turned it down, and Keanu Reeves picked it up afterwards. And I would say Will Smith's probably kicking himself for turning down the role, but that dude makes so much money, I doubt he even cares. But yeah, no, it's a pretty awesome movie. And one thing I never realized, there's a kind of a memorable or iconic scene in which Neo and Trinity break in to the first floor of this military compound, and they walk through a metal detector and set it off. The security guards tell him to remove all his metal objects, and he opens up his coat, and he's just decked out in like 12 guns, all like submachine guns and Glocks and all this stuff. And they shoot up all the guards and all the security forces down there. And part of that scene is Akimbo running down the corridor with, yeah, did I say Akimbo? Neo running down the corridor with Akimbo Scorpions. I had no idea. So I mean, if Neo's sitting there using Akimbo Scorpions, then all the more reason to use it in this game. To be honest, the only thing I really didn't like about The Matrix has nothing to do with that movie at all. It's the fact that they made two sequels. What was it, Reloaded and Revelations? They weren't horrible. In fact, the car chase scene from Reloaded was pretty awesome. It's just they weren't necessary. I would have been perfectly all right if they had stopped with the first movie. But I guess you got to keep making money on a successful movie, I guess. But you know, I hate it when they take something that has good quality and they just run it into the ground. The same thing could be said for the TV show Heroes, at least kind of similar. If you're a fan of superheroes or the superhero genre, I recommend going to pick up the first season and only the first season. I got it on DVD, and I think I sat through the entire first season in one sitting. It was really well done. The problem is they just didn't have the story to back it up, and they just kept going and going, and it ran into the ground, lost a lot of views, and NBC eventually canceled it. And one of the problems with that show was the creator actually wanted to start fresh every season. He wanted to get rid of the entire cast and start with a new cast and potentially a brand new storyline. But NBC didn't think that the audience would be able to relate to a new set of characters every season, so they they scratched that idea, and he had to stick with the same cast. And I think that hurt the overall quality of the season and ended up running it into the ground. But good quality TV shows or movies, it's not always the case that they're kind of burnt to the ground. I guess you could say Batman has the potential. The new Batman, the reboot, has the potential to be well done. It's the trilogy's ending next summer. And I think the teaser just came out for The Dark Knight Rises. If you haven't seen it before, I'd Google search it. It looks pretty cool. It's just you don't get a whole lot of information from it. It's a little teaser, but I think it has potential to be a really good movie. I don't think it can beat The Dark Knight. Just at least for me, just because I think the Joker's the absolute best villain that you could use in any Batman movie. And now that he's gone, they got pretty big shoes to fill. Although Bane could make for a really good villain. A lot of people miscategorize him or assume that he's like this mindless grunt, especially if you're going based on the Batman and Robin movies. But he's actually super intelligent. I think he's almost genius level in the comic books, and he's the only guy to ever break Batman's back. So I mean, he could be a really good villain in this film. So we have to wait and see. I'm looking forward to it. And that teaser actually came out during the what was it, the final Harry Potter movie. That's another series that's been going on for 10 years. I've never read any of the books. I heard they were really amazing. I probably need to go pick them up. I haven't seen any of the movies. So let me know if that franchise, if they handled it well, if you feel like they kind of burnt that or ran that into the ground, or it actually ended on a high note. It ended with overall good quality. Oh, wow. I went on a little bit of a rant. Well, the real thing I want to talk about, at least in terms of video games, is how do you guys want the kill streaks for Modern Warfare 3 to work? And I mean, there's a lot of different variables. I almost feel like I need to make another video talking about this. But I mean, you could have it kind of like the COD 4 World at War setup, where they don't have a huge impact. You have 357, or you could have it like Modern Warfare 2, where they're stackable, where you can have 2 Harriers, a chopper gunner, and an AC-130 all in the air at the same time. And you even have there's not going to be a nuke in Modern Warfare 3, but I mean, really powerful kill streaks that basically were, in my opinion, I think they were a little too prevalent in the game. I think they were too much of an incentive to get them, but high-end kill streaks like that. Or do you want to see kill streaks that are set up like Black Ops, where they're not stackable at all? I heard a lot of different arguments from a variety of different things, reading the forums and just talking to people. I mean, a lot of people preferred the 357 just because it was simple. There wasn't a whole lot of emphasis on those kill streaks, and it put more emphasis on gunplay. I don't think they're ever going to go back to that. I think too many people are fans of the customizable setup. And then there's arguments between stackable and non-stackable. I think Treyarch did it because they didn't want the rich get richer mentality going into the game. Like, for example, in Modern Warfare 2, the first person to get the Predator, most likely they're going to get their Harrier, and the Harrier is going to get them their chopper gunner or their Pavlo or their AC-130. And they just didn't want that type of setup. But the argument against non-stackable kill streaks is because they're much harder to get. People will camp a lot more to get them. They'll sit in a corner, or they'll sit in some obscure location in the hopes to build up to those higher kill streaks. To be honest, I think you're going to see camping regardless. I remember seeing camping for nukes in Modern Warfare 2 all the time, and I've seen people camping in this game as well. I do think that the tempo is a little bit faster, or could potentially be a little bit faster, if you have stackable kill streaks, but you don't have as many high-end kill streaks. You don't have the incentive for people to wait around for it. Because the same could be said for stackable. Say somebody has 3 kills, and they have Predator, Harrier, Chopper Gunner. They camp around for the 2 next kills, get their Predator, use the Predator, get their Harrier, Harrier gets their Chopper Gunner. So I don't know. It's tough to say. I guess it's really based on how they set up the kill streaks. I prefer getting kills or the kill streaks with your gun, but I guess I gotta wait for more information. What do you guys think? What do you guys want to see? What kill streaks do you want to see brought back? I know the AC-130 has already been confirmed, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in terms of kill streaks for Modern Warfare 3. And like always, take it easy.